All right, good morning, traders. Today is February 13th, 2025. Thank you for being here. Thank you to everybody out there in podcast land, cyberland, digital land. Everybody, thank you for subscribing to the content. I appreciate that. Thank you for finding value in the content. I like the kind words and the kind comments. All right. So my SPY pivot this morning, 602.57. Above it, I'm a bull. Below it, I'm a bear. SPY and FNGU made lower lows and lower highs, closing over bullish traps over their 17 EMAs. SPY still in a daily downtrend, closed with a 2-hour uptrend and a 10-minute uptrend. QQQ and FNGU both in daily uptrends. QQQ made an outside day, that's a higher high and a lower low, closing above a bullish trap over the 17 EMA. IWM made a lower high and a lower low, closing under a bearish trap below the 17. Diamond Dow made a lower high and a lower low, closing under a bullish trap but above the 17. SLV, GLD both in uptrends. Daily uptrends. Gold made an outside day, higher high, lower low, closing over a bullish trap over the 17. Silver made a higher high and a higher low, closing over a bullish trap over the 17. UNG, USO still both in daily uptrends. UNG made an outside day, higher high, lower low, closing over a bullish trap over the 17. USO made a lower high and a lower low, closing under a bearish trap under the 17. And US dollar index still in a downtrend, closed near the 107.50 area. SPY, max pain is 602 today with 1.3 puts to each call that expires today at 4:15. All right, let's go take a look at some charts. All right, let's move this down here. All right, so this is the SPY on the daily chart. No, on the 2-hour chart. So if we look at the 2-hour chart and you squeeze in here, you can barely see it, but the yellow 3 EMA got up on top of the white 8 EMA right there. So we just squeaked out a 2-hour uptrend. On the 10-minute chart, coming into the close yesterday, all right, you can see at the very last candle, we squeaked out, again, a 10-minute uptrend, just closing over the 8 EMA, that 3 EMA up there. So 10-minute uptrend, not a very convincing one. 2-hour uptrend, not a very convincing one. On the daily chart, okay, this would be yesterday's candle right here. Lower high, lower low, closing under a bullish trap. Closing over a bullish trap over the rising 17. Okay, and let's move this up to here. One more candle over right there. Okay, closing over the all-time high anchored VWAP. That's the pink line here. And closing over the neckline. Okay, so we got a head and shoulders neckline right through here. Okay, so that would be the head. All right, and then we've got two shoulders. Here's the shoulder on this side, shoulder on that side, okay? So we gap down into it. Now, yesterday's price action, let's go to the 15-minute for a minute here. Now, you can see we got to draw this in, okay? So you got a big move down. So here's the red candle. It's not there, but you have to draw it in. So you take a red candle and you start it right here where price left off, and you can see where price gapped down to, okay? So price came down into the neckline, okay? Now, we didn't get any follow-through, all right? So that's what happened. We didn't get any follow-through, so they bullied all day, and that's why I said I'm taking the 10-minute uptrend over VWAP, okay? And it wasn't even above the pivot. That's where I took it right there. Okay, good morning, Mike. All right, so you can see no follow-through on that big red candle down. All right, so price action right into the neckline, and the neckline kind of held right there. And you can see they got price back up over the all-time high anchored VWAP. So there's the 15-minute chart. You can see this candle's not there, but you got to kind of draw it in to get the full picture. Big igniting candle down, and then you get no follow through. Well, guess what? We're going back up. All right, so there's SPY on the 15-minute, just to review what happened yesterday. Okay, so we got down and the bulls bought it up. All right, so price came down and the bulls said, hey, we like this price, and they bought it all the way back up to the resistance area right up here, or the base. All right, so let's go take a look at the game plan. All right, so we'll head over here to the game plan. Let me take this off. And we hit the game plan, hit it up on the 5-minute, actually 10 minutes, good. All right, so game plan for today for SPY. You got red erases green, okay? So this would be the red, the move down, okay? So red erases green, green erases red. Forgive me on that. That was supposed to be green erases red. So let's draw in a red box, okay? So you got price action. We come from this high, all right? And we got down to this low right here. Okay, so if price gets back up over this little node right here, okay, right there, okay, I want to be a bull, okay? That would be my first bullish entry, 604.06, unless, of course, we create a higher low down here, and then I'd be interested with a 10-minute uptrend, I'd be interested in taking that up. But that would be my bullish entry for the morning right there, pretty much. Unless we'll see how things play out. We still got about an hour and a half before the market opens. A lot of zigzagging could go on. All right, but first bullish entry so far, 604.06, price over 604.06, and you can see they got up there in the pre-market, post-market, and they didn't get any further. They didn't quite make the breakdown candle high, so I don't know if that's a tell or not. They could have easily gotten that because that's right up here. So we'll see what happens. So then you got green. All right, green would come in, and green, got to get the box. Okay, green would erase the red. So that would be my entry right up here on the green line, 604.06. Now, red erases green. Okay, so let's take those off. Okay, so green, obviously, from this section, we took price from here or here all the way up to the highs. All right, so red erases green is going to be down here, okay, at 657. So if this pullback gets erased, this would be my bearish entry. Okay, so price underneath 657. All right, that would be my bearish entry down there. Pivot 602.57. You can see where price actions, a lot of lines on there. I know that. Okay, you can see where price action. See if I can find us a cleaner chart real quick. All right, so try to look at something a little bit cleaner. Okay, so you can see where price action comes up. All right, we go up, and then we pull back, and then you can see where price valley creates a valley right here and creates a valley right there. All right, so this latitude right here, because I can see price pivoted around this line right here, this would be my pivot right through here. All right, so now I'm going to take that, I'm going to get the crosshairs, and I'm going to show you how I got my pivot. So I take this up here, and you can see 602 right down to those wicks down there. Here, let's take those out, right down to those, see those tails down there, right down to those tails, 602.54, 602.57 or so, right in through there. Okay, so that's how I got my pivot. All right, because I look at where price is pivoting around. All right, you see price has a peak that comes up here, and then it has valleys that come down to here. Okay, that's telling me that this area is the area there they think is important. So above it, I want to be a bull. Below it, I want to be a bear. All right, that's my way of figuring out my pivot in the morning. As I look to see where price is pivoting around. It's either under this or it's over this. All right, so that's what I'm looking at for my pivot. And you've got the SPY game plan. Let's go take a look at Hey, let's go take a look at the weekly chart just so we can review this and the daily chart. So let's take this off. Let's pick up the daily chart. All right, you can see here's price action. That's the pink all-time high anchored VWAP right there. That's the all-time high, and price closed above it. All right, so I'm going to take this, delete the drawings on there. Okay, so you can see here's the daily candle. Now, as far as status goes, we're still in a downtrend, okay? We're still in a downtrend because we haven't made a higher high, all right? Now, don't forget, we got a triple top going on here, all right? Still, the triple top still exists, but they don't seem to be walking away from it. All right, they still seem to be interested. Every time price pulls down, notice it's a green candle to pull up. A green candle pulls up. A green candle pulls up. All right, so every time price comes down, we get a green candle that pops up, even after this triple top. So I don't know if we're going to get the dump. It looks to me like they are going to be consistent and persistent about making a higher high. So we'll see what happens with this. But they are hanging out here bullishly up here. Okay, so we got price action moving, all right, in a bull flag. When price moves up and over to the right, that's bullish. That's holding the higher ground. That's a bullish environment. We got the triple top, but they're not giving up, all right, so far. Now, things could change after PPI comes out at 8:30, all right, but price moving up and they're not giving up, all right, so they're holding the higher ground so far. So we'll look for those 10-minute uptrends, all right, if they should happen to gap down this morning from the PPI, and we will look for those 10-minute uptrends to play back up to the same location, because that's what recent history has shared with us. All right, they've yet to make higher highs, but they're not giving up. All right, so there's SPY on the daily chart. And it's still in a downtrend, okay, because we've yet to make a higher high. We took out this low with this candle right here. Okay, so we took out this low with these candles right here, made a lower low that got us into the downtrend. Since that downtrend, we made a higher high, all right, and that put us in an uptrend. And then we got ourselves a higher low. And then we turn around and guess what? We made, again, we did the same thing. We made a lower low here. So that put us in a downtrend. Okay, so now we're in a downtrend again because we took out that low. So we got to make the higher high in order to negate the uptrend. All right, so there's SPY. Flipping back and forth up here. Okay, let's take a look at the quadrants. All right, well, actually, we'll go take a look at the weekly. All right, so if you look at the 3-day or the 2-day, let's go look at the 2-day. Okay, let's look at the 2-day, see what that's doing. All right, on the 2-day, okay, so we made lower lows, so that's a downtrend, all right, and we made a higher high, so there's an uptrend. So as far as the 2-day, that's in an uptrend, all right, because we haven't made a lower low on the 2-day. See that? Nothing underneath the 17 except for this candle right here, and that's a higher low. All right, so we got an uptrend on the 2-day, an uptrend on the 3-day, an uptrend on the weekly, and an uptrend on the monthly. Again, it's just a label, all right? But that's what we got so far. So on the daily, still in a downtrend, and it's just a label. All right, so go back to the daily. Take a look at this on the scratch right there. And these were downside targets for yesterday. I'm going to move those out of the way. Got a lot of stuff going on here. All right, so we closed. If we look at this, this is our candle for today. Right there, that green candle there. And we back all the way out. You can see here's the quadrant lines. All right, so I'll take all this stuff off. Let's just go ahead and delete it. All right, so we can see this clearly. All right, and we'll put the quad lines back in. Okay, so you can see we're up here in quadrant 4. That's bullish. You can see the move from the low up to the high, holding the higher ground. That's a bullish environment. Up here in quadrant 4, that's a bullish environment. All right, we're going to continue to stick with it until it gives up. Okay, over the 17 is a bullish environment. Over the trap is a bullish environment. Over the all-time high anchored VWAP, closing up over, is a bullish environment. Everything is saying it's a bullish environment. We're starting off with a red candle. It very well could find support and head back on up. We'll see what happens. We're going to watch and wait for that 10-minute uptrend, and that will be our opportunity. Okay, so there's SPY on the daily chart. All right, let's go take a look at QQQ. Here's the NASDAQ, all right, and here's the QQQ on the daily chart. You can see they got an outside day. That's a higher high and a lower low. Closing over the bullish trap. That's a bullish environment. Okay, closing over the all-time high anchored VWAP. That's a bullish environment. Closing over the 17 EMA, also bullish. Closing in quadrant 4, also bullish. So everything bullish here on QQQ. Again, price action, all right, is moving up and holding that higher ground. That's a bullish environment, all right? So we'll see where we go. Kind of getting inverted head and shoulders showing up here. This being a head, that being a left shoulder, this being a right shoulder. So there's QQQ. That's bullish up there. All right, let's take a look at IWM. All right, so IWM, we're on the daily chart. This is the all-time high. That's the pink line right through there. This is the daily candle, this green candle right there. So we made a lower high and a lower low. We closed under a bearish trap, under the 17, under the all-time high anchored VWAP. Okay, over the uptrend line is bullish, but underneath the all-time high anchored VWAP, underneath the trap, underneath the 17 is all bearish. All right, so we're above the midpoint here. That's bullish. So we're just neutral. All right, we're not in the upper third. We're not in the upper quadrant. We're not able to hold the higher ground. Okay, notice we go up and we give it up. Okay, that's neutral. You go up, and again, we pull back and give it up. We go up again, we pull back, and we keep giving it up. Okay, got to get up and hold the higher ground. So IWM just neutral, up over the uptrend line, right through there. Okay, let's go take a look at Diamond Dow. All right, so here's Diamond Dow. Notice Diamond Dow is consolidating in a bull flag up in quadrant 4. That's bullish. All right, up over the all-time high anchored VWAP. Also bullish. All right, closing over the 17. Also bullish. All right, underneath the trap, not so much. All right, but up there in quadrant 4, that's bullish. So Diamond Dow is bullish up here. Okay, again, holding the higher ground up over the all-time high anchored VWAP. It's pretty much always a bullish thing. All right, let's take a look at FNGU. All right, FNGU, price action. You can see, big bull flag. Let's take this off and do it again. Okay, big bull flag up and then over to the right. That's bullish. Consolidating, all right, in quadrant 4. That's bullish. Over the uptrend line, also bullish. Closing, that's a candle right there. Over the all-time high anchored VWAP, also bullish. Let's take this off right here. Don't need that. All right, so closing over the uptrend line, over the downtrend line, over the all-time high anchored VWAP, in a bull flag, up in quadrant 4, that's bullish. All right, you can see we had an attack on the all-time highs right here. With this consolidation, I gotta believe we're due for another attack sometime this week. If not this week, I think the beginning of next week for an attack on those highs. We'll see what happens. There's FNGU on the daily charts. Take a look at our technicals. All right, T2122. Surprise, surprise. This is what I was expecting after this day here, but we popped up, came back, made a lower low, then turned around, made a lower high, and then we made another lower low. I was expecting this move right here after this day on the 7th, but instead we got this pop up, made a high, made a lower high, then we finally came down and made the lower low. All right, so price action yesterday, you can see we fell out of bed, all right, into the sell zone, almost into the oversold zone, and just started making little micro higher lows through here and wound up melting up into the seller's chop zone. Okay, so we'll take a look at what that looks like on the T2122, all right, which is a gap down that's not filled by the bulls, all right. Right, it's a little bit of information there. A gap down that's not filled by the bulls, okay, but winds up melting up to the upside, okay. So price action, you got half the day is red, the other half is green, closing up over the rising 200 SMA up there. Okay, you can see price action if we take a look and pan out so we can see a full picture. Price action goes up. Okay, price action goes up and then over. That's a bull flag. Okay, so that's a bullish environment. All right, up over the 200 SMA. Also another bullish environment. All right, we'll look at the same chart. Okay, on the 3 bar. Okay, so you can see we gapped down. So we got 2 red candles and then 1 green as we came back up there to fill the gap. Okay, something of interest, we didn't fill the gap, all right, but it looks like we did make an effort. Maybe we're not done making an effort. If we fail to fill the gap, I'd like to see us consolidate right underneath it at least. If not, I think we're coming back down here to test that prior all-time high right there. We'll see what happens. Notice price action closing in on this melting 200 SMA right there on the 3 bar chart. Okay, like to see us get up on top of that and consolidate. We'll see. The first target is this area right here. Okay, that's the first valley between 2 peaks. Here's a peak, here's a peak, here's the valley between 2 peaks. So that's going to be my target for the upside. So that's right about right there. That would put us right on top of the 200 SMA. All right. What we want to see is price move up there and hold, not move up and give it all up. All right. So we'll see what happens. And it may be that they have to pull back, make a higher low, okay, before they go up there and consolidate over the 200. That's a possibility. We'll see what happens here. So let's take that off. Let's take a look at FNGU one more time. All right, so here's FNGU. See, we got a gap down. And it looks like FNGU, look, if you look at it, looks like they filled their gap. SPY did not. T2123 did not. Qs did. FNGU and the Qs did. SPY had a little bit of trouble with it. All right, but then again, SPY has 500 securities, whereas FNGU only has 10 and QQQ only has 100. All right, so here's FNGU filling the bearish gap, showing you that the bulls are large and in charge. Price action moves up and consolidates over to the right. All right, so still showing a bull flag. Price action, all right, moving up and holding the higher ground. It's a bullish environment. Over the 200 SMA, bullish environment. Over the all-time high anchored VWAP, bullish environment. Over the uptrend line, bullish environment. Ladies and gentlemen, we're still bullish here, okay? All right, so let's go take a look at a few sectors. All right, so we'll flip over to, let's try this one. Hey, we like that one. All right, let's take a look at it on the daily chart. And let's pull up SMH. All right, here's the quad lines with SMH from September. Okay, now you notice on September SMH, we did get close to the upper third, but we're not quite there yet. Price action is up over the all-time high anchored VWAP. That's bullish. Price action closing over the trap or in the trap. That's bullish. Closing over the 17, also bullish. Over the all-time high anchored VWAP, also bullish. I can take this out. I don't know why I kept that on there for 5 months. All right. Oh, up here in quadrant 3. Okay, just kind of neutral at this time. Unable. Notice every time they go up, they give it up. Every time they hit up in quadrant 4, they give it up. Okay, they are able to hold the ground in quadrant 3, but they're unable to do it in quadrant 4. All right, so they get close every time. We need them to get up there and hold that higher ground. All right, and that's when it becomes really interesting. Right now, they're just kind of holding right here on the runway. All right, right there. Still in bull flag form, okay? So we still got bull flag form up and over to the right. All right, just had a breakout there that didn't quite work out. Then we had a breakdown, didn't quite work out. So they're still on the runway, waiting for clear skies so they can take off. All right, that's neutral right there. Okay, we'll see what happens in the near future. I think something happens maybe at the end of this week. If not today, maybe next week. We'll see. SMH, okay? That's just neutral. Okay, when it was up here, that was bullish, but it's not able to hold it up there. Let's take a look at XLK. Technology, all right, we'll take a look at it on the scratch. You can see technology moving from this August low, clear up to this high in a bull flag. Notice price moves up and consolidates over to the right. That's bullish. Price action, this will be yesterday's candle. Again, higher low, higher high, closing over the trap. That's bullish. Over the 17, that's bullish. Over the all-time high anchored VWAP, that's bullish. Up here in quadrant 4, also bullish. All right, so you notice you got SPY, QQQ, FNGU, all bullish. We got the technology is also bullish. Let's go take a look at the financials. Okay, let's look at the financials. Financials moving up and holding the higher ground. All right, this would be yesterday's candle, lower high, lower low, closing inside a bullish trap over the rising 17. That's bullish. Closing up over the prior all-time high anchored VWAP, also bullish. Up here in quadrant 4, also bullish. Everything looking good for the financials up there in quadrant 4. Okay, now keep in mind, it's not about 3 days ago they made a new all-time high. It's just recently. So everything's still looking good on the financials as they consolidate up near the highs. Let's take a look at XLI. All right, notice XLI, nice green candle bouncing off of the all-time high anchored VWAP and the uptrend line. Okay, XLI closing over the 17, that's bullish. Under the trap, not so much. Up in the upper third, that's bullish. Over the uptrend line, also bullish. And over the all-time high anchored VWAP, also bullish. So industrials, also bullish. Let's take a look at XLU. Okay, here's the utilities. This will be yesterday's candle right here between the two green ones. Okay, higher low, higher high, closing over the trap, over the 17, and over the all-time high anchored VWAP. All of that is bullish. In the upper third, also bullish. All right, XLU is in an uptrend. It's just a label. All right, and they got themselves in an uptrend because they were able to make, here's a high, a higher high. Since then, they've made a higher low. We are looking for price to make the higher high. That's XLU. XLI still caught in the downtrend because they have to take out this high in order to negate the downtrend. They made a lower high, so now that will be the high that they need to take out. They had to take out this one before, then they had a a pullback in their downtrend, but the pullback didn't go far enough to negate the downtrend. All right, so instead they just created a lower high. If we come in and take out that lower high, that will be a new higher high, now taking XLI from downtrend status to uptrend status. Again, it's just a label. They are bullish up here in the upper third. Okay, let's take a look at IYT. All right, here's the transports. Hey, that's not a bad candle yesterday. Not too bad. Price action. Lower high, lower low. Closing over the trap. That's bullish. Over the 17, also bullish. Over the all-time high pink line anchored VWAP, also bullish. Over the uptrend line, also bullish. Inside quadrant 4, again, more bullishness. Okay, so now we've got financials are bullish. All right, we've got SPY, FNGU, QQQ, Diamond Dow, all bullish up in quadrant 4. Transports are bullish. Financials are bullish. Technology is bullish. We got the makings of a really robust rally. We could go to SPY 650. All right, the only one missing here is T2123, and it's acting bullish by moving up and holding the higher ground. Okay, it's acting bullish. All right, they may need a pullback so they can wind up and shoot up. All right, I would not be surprised if that's what they need before shooting up, but they have consolidated nicely since the 31st of January, and we're now on the 13th. Okay, so it's a nice 2 weeks of consolidation here in bull flag formation. Okay, we could easily see price action, all right, move up, consolidate, and then making another move up higher. Okay, that is a possibility. Or we could see price action move up, consolidate, do a little wind up, in other words, pull back, get some spinach, and then shoot off to make a higher high. That could also be the scenario, okay? So it's probably, I think it's going to be one of the two. I actually think it's going to be this one more so than the other one. I'll take either one, all right? Just don't come back down here and visit the lows, all right? So there's T2123. We'll see what happens. All right, so back to the chart. Back to the chart. All right, this was the IYT. Transports bullish. When the transports are bullish, that means a lot. That means that shelves are getting stocked. Thank you, Alan. Shelves are getting stocked. Products getting moved around the country. People are buying our goods and services. All right, that's very good. Even foreigners might be buying our goods and services as we ship them to wayward points or outward bound ports to be sent overseas. So that's very good news. All right, we like to see it when the transports are in uptrends. Okay, so there's IYT. All right, bullish and in not quite in an uptrend yet. Yes, where they took out that high. And in an uptrend on the daily chart, IYT. All right, let's take a look at the economic package. I hope I didn't miss anything. I did. Did I do silver and gold and UNG? Let's do XLE. All right, I don't think I did XLE. All right, XLE is still stuck in a downtrend. All right, it's a label. All right, and it's in that label because, all right, let's take a look. They took out this low. All right. And they made a lower low. Not only take out that low, they took out this one, and they took out this one. So they took out all three of these lows, made a lower low. Since making the lower low, they've been a pullback and made a lower high. It's just a pullback, made a lower high. All right, price action, since making that lower high, has made a higher low. If they can get it together and take out that high, they will have an uptrend, but that's meaningless unless they can get up there and hold the higher ground. Okay, I do like the higher lows. All right, I will take it if you want to do higher lows and higher highs, but I really like it when they can get up and hold the higher ground. We'll see what happens. Yesterday's candle, all right, for XLE, this is energy, higher high, higher low, closing over, okay, that's a 12-month high anchored VWAP here, okay? That's the 12-month high, closing over that 12-month high anchored VWAP, closing over this downtrend line, but under this downtrend line, coming darn near the upper third, but no cigar, okay? Closing over the 17, over the bullish trap, and over the midpoint. Okay, got a lot of bullishness, got a little bit of bearishness. So just kind of neutral. They have a habit of moving up and giving it up. Okay, see how they move up and then they give it up. They actually gave it up and more. Okay, on this one they move up and they gave it up again. Okay, so we are made a higher low. All right, question is, can we make that higher high? So there's XLE. All right, still stuck in downtrend status, but on the bullish side of neutral. All right, so there's XLE. Let's take a look at UNG. UNG is in an uptrend and they just bounced out of the buy box. That's the shaded green section. Price action. Okay, you can see they put in a higher low. We're looking for them to make a higher high. Nice move. They're all the way up here at 1962, back near the $20 area. Nice, really nice move on the daily chart. All right, yesterday's candle, higher low, higher high, closing over the trap, over the 17, over the 12-month high, anchored VWAP here. All of that is bullish. All right, even better would be to see them move up and hold the higher ground. That would be nice. Okay, but I do like the idea that they pulled back to minor support right here and bounced. All right. That is always the pattern that I like, when price pulls back to the minor support and bounces up and makes a higher high. Okay, so there's UNG. Let's take a look at USO. USO also still in a uptrend. Okay, pulling back inside the buy box. Okay, yesterday's candles, this doji up here, and they got above the 17. All right, so that makes a lower high. All right, price action for USO on the daily chart. Higher low, higher high, closing over a bullish trap, over the 17, over the buy box, almost in the upper third. That's bullish up there, but they seem to be losing it this morning. So there's USO. All right, so again, they got a habit of moving up and giving it up. All right, so we'll see what happens with that. They're still in an uptrend. All right, let's take a look at gold. Gold recently put in like 7 new all-time high right here back through this rally. Yesterday's candle is going to be this doji red candle right there. That's a lower high and a lower low, closing over the trap, over the 17, over the prior all-time high anchored VWAP. That's bullish. Let's take a look at silver. Silver also in an uptrend. Price action would be this candle here. That's a lower high, lower low, closing inside a bullish trap, over the 17, over the 12-year high anchored VWAP. That's the pink line right there. All right, silver in an uptrend, making higher lows and higher highs. Okay, so let's go take a look at the economic package. All right, again, I'll review it. 602 is max pain for SPY today. Put to call ratio, 1 1/3 puts for each call. Not much there to have a put squeeze. All right, 602 seems to be the waffle number, where they want to waffle around 602. We'll see what happens with that. On earnings, not much earnings left for this week. All right, we got Applied Materials going to report tonight, 148 billion. Unilever hasn't quite decided. Sony Group, they're going to report this morning, 139 billion. John Deere, 128 billion. They're going to report this morning. Palo Alto, Little Tech, going to report tonight with Applied Materials, 122 billion. That's it. More familiar names. All right, but nothing that's going to move the markets. Tomorrow, again, familiar names, nothing that's going to move the markets. Monday, BHP Group, 127 billion. They're going to report in the evening. I don't think they're tech, all right, but they're going to report in the evening. Okay, again, Not much left to move the markets. It seems like the big boys already put their numbers in, all right, and we're acting bullish. And that's a good sign. That means that they like the numbers and there's a possibility of us moving higher. We'll see what happens as long as the data comes in. Pretty good. Okay, on the dollar, let's look at the dollar. This would be yesterday's candle. Notice this candle has more wick than body and tail. Okay, price action came down here, closed near 107.90 area. Did I put 107.50? I don't know why I put 107.50, but it closed near 107.91. All right, that was yesterday's close on the dollar. Still in a downtrend. They did not make a higher high. Okay, we did the earnings. Let's do, we did Max Payne, last one, economic calendar. CPI came out yesterday. PPI is coming out today. PPI comes out at 8:30. I think Alan already shared it in the room. Jobless claims also at 8:30. Gas report at 10, and that's it. It's a quiet day for the rest of the day. Retail sales comes out tomorrow at 8:30. Import-export prices, 8:30. Industrial production, 9:15. All right, that's it. I'll take questions in the room. Other than that, I'm going to come back in about 40 minutes, and we'll open up the markets. All right? Okay, remember, moving up and holding the higher ground, that's bullish. All right, moving up, holding the higher ground, that's bullish. Doesn't matter if it's a security, an ETF, or an ETN. All right, it's that momentum moving up, making higher lows and higher highs is also bullish. Either one, either make higher lows and higher highs, or move up and hold the higher ground. Both are bullish. All right, so. That message doesn't, or lesson doesn't just apply to silver. It applies to everything. Okay, so there you go there. Unless it's an inverse ETF, of course. That doesn't mean, okay, so. All right, traders, I'll see you guys in about 40 minutes. Let me